All right, guys, so welcome to the live stream. Just going to be working on some remodeling here of an older project, the Destiny from Stargate Universe. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. No one's in the chat right now. That's all right. All right, so we're going to take this and make this editable. Let's see here. What's going on over here? All right, so this is an old lamp base, and I'm not sure if I have any pictures of that from the show, but I'm going to redo that one. So let's see if I can, let's just start over again from scratch. Let's see what's going on over here with the chat. Maybe I'll leave that alone. Let's take, okay. Oh, now I lost it again. Hello and welcome to the live stream. Let me know if you have any trouble with the video or with the audio. I think that'll look good enough for now, I suppose. I'll tell you what, let's make this a little more accurate. So let's chop off bottom portion. Close that off. All right, so that'll be the new lamp. Now the lamp can sit down on the base. And I have no idea why I made so many of these lamps when I could have just used an instance. I don't know if instance will work with Arnold lights. I may have to look into that because I'm going to try to switch all this over to Arnold because it was currently being used with V-Ray. But V-Ray has way too many problems at the moment, so I want to make the switch over to Arnold. All right, so that's the new lamp base. This is the old one. Yeah, that's the old one. I'm gonna get rid of that one. And I'm wondering if this will work with instancing with Arnold. So let's try something really quick. Let's take the lampshade, the top part, and I'm gonna give that a Arnold mesh light. And let's go to the IPR. Let's see what happens when I do this. Hopefully it won't crash on me. All right, let's turn that on. Maybe that'll help. And we'll go with visible light. That's way too bright. I'm gonna make it an orange color. Take this down to maybe 0.1. It's a little better. And let me pull that over out of the way so we can see what we're doing here. All right, so if I were to take this lamp base and make an instance out of it, and then pull the instance over. Ah, okay, so that does work. That's good to know. So now I only have to make one, and then I can just instance it across the whole of the ship where I need it. All right, that's good to know. I didn't know if that was going to work or not, but apparently it does. So if I hit render instance, does that still work? It does. All right, that's good to know. All right, so I'll just delete that one for now. And I need to find where that section is to turn it on. You can see there's a whole bunch of these things everywhere. All over the place. So what I need to do is just turn the ship back on. All right, so there it is right there. So this part would be under, where are we at here? Right there. All right, so now what I can do is take this lamp base and let's make an instance of that. Pull that over there. I'll make another one. So now I can delete those two. All right, so there's the first one. There's another one over there. And by the way, if anyone is curious, this was modeled, I did all of this years ago in an older version of Cinema 4D, and the modeling tools back then were rather lacking. So now since I'm in R18 right now, it's got the proper bevel tool, but I'm also using the tool called, let's see if I can, I'm also using solid chamfer as well. It does pretty good when modeling for like hard surface stuff if you want to bevel the corners. It basically does the same thing as the new Bevel tool will do. It just doesn't have as many options. It only has subdivision and offset. That's basically all it's got. But it still works pretty well. All right, so that lamp base can be deleted. That one can be, yeah, that one can be deleted. All right, and this might be in a symmetry. It is. Okay. All right, so I think I may have, let's take this one and push it over to here. All right. So now I'll turn the IPR back on. I want to make sure that that's off. Okay. And I'm going to need, where is that at? Maybe that needs to be turned on. Okay, there we go. And I'm using a sky dome light for this with a physical sky. And I'm going to turn this down so we can see some lighting from these little lamps here. There we go, that's a little better. And let's take the azimuth down, the elevation down. All right, so let's back out a little bit here. All right, so that don't look too bad. I could probably increase the brightness just a little bit, but we'll do that later. I'm just mainly focusing on the modeling right now. So we'll turn that off. And we'll go back down here to, let's see, where were we at? To the lights. All right, so I don't know if I need to remodel some of this stuff. It looks okay. The problem though is that a lot of this was used back years ago in maybe R11, R13 with the old Bevel tool, maybe. I think that's probably when it was. So I just want to make sure that the corners look right on here. Fong angle, I'm going to change that back to 80. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit here. Try to make it look a little better if I can. Okay, so let's see what this corner looks like. I don't know if I like that right there. Let's see some of these other corners. I may have to remodel this. Doesn't look too bad. Might as well go ahead and redo it while I'm here. All right, so let's turn that on. And let's get rid of some of this stuff. Turn that off. Okay, turn that off as well. All right, there we go. All right, so let's start out with I might as well use a spline for this. All right, so I'll make that editable. And I'm just going to push this into position to where it lines up with this old piece. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate. All right, and now I'm going to bevel all of those points just to round that out. We'll add it to a extrude NURB. Extrude NURB needs to be turned on. There we go. Going in the wrong direction. All right, so I'm going to pull that down. Take that up. That's fine. We'll make it editable. And of course, Cinema 4D still has this thing where if you make an extrude NURB editable, it's not going to connect the caps and everything to it. Now, I don't know if that was changed in R21 or not, but if you select the main object and you pull up and down with it, you can see that what you're basically pulling on the side because the cap is not selected. So if you were to select the top cap, you're just pulling up on the cap now. So you have to select all three of those parts. You use the connect objects plus delete command. And then I think you need to optimize. Yep. So make sure no points are selected and then optimize it. And now it should be good to go. I don't know if that was fixed in R21 or not. Hopefully it was. But if not, that's just one of those little annoyances. All right, so now what we're going to do is I think I'm going to have to cut out these little extrusions. I was originally going to do this with a bump map or some type of displacement, but I wanted to get some close-up shots with the camera. So the only way to do that with it still looking good is to do it with geometry. So we'll have to do it with geometry. That means I'm going to have to model all of this hull plating. Thankfully, I already did it in the past, so now I just have to go through and kind of fix some of the problems with it. All right, so I'm going to change the falling angle over to 80. And let's grab the loop knife tool. All right, so what we'll do is we'll make a cut there, another one there. Okay, and another one here and there. And I'm not sure what's going on at the top. I don't know what's going on there, but I have to clean that up too. All right, so I got those two cuts. We'll go to a side view. Okay, so one there and another one there. And we'll have to do some over here as well. So grab the knife tool, and I don't want visible only. I do want single line because I want this cut to go all the way through. So I'm just going to make a couple of cuts there, and I'll get them squared up in a moment. Now that I think about it, probably what I could have done there to make that a little easier is to use the chamfer part of the bevel tool on an edge. So basically what I could have done was, and I'll just show a little example here. Let's just say I make a loop cut right there. So then what I can do is do a loop selection on that edge, and rather than making another loop cut and then trying to line it up, what I could do is use the bevel tool, and I can set the bevel mode over to solid, and then click and drag, and that will actually create two more cuts in there for me. So I could have done that, or I could use the solid chamfer plugin and just set the subdivision down to 0, and that does the same thing. All right, so I'm going to undo that because I don't need that line there anymore. And where else do I need some of these cuts at? I think that's going to be, whoa, where am I at? There we go. All right, so this is a rather odd looking piece. Okay, so it's got an extrusion there and there, but these two here are not extruded. I don't know why I didn't extrude those. And over here, there are 3 that are not extruded. It's odd. All right, anyway, so let's go back to the new piece. And what I need to do is probably bevel that top edge first before we go any further. The old one has quite a bit of a bevel there. So I'm going to do that really quick. All right, so first of all, let's take and drop it down a little bit. That's too much. All right, so we're going to drop that down to about right there. By the way, if anybody has any questions, I think the chat is going, so feel free to ask questions, or it doesn't have to pertain to the Destiny here. It can be anything Cinema 4D related. So feel free to ask whatever you'd like. All right, so I need to bevel that first. All right, so I got that selected, And I'm going to use the solid chamfer plugin again. I don't know if this works with R21. One time I tried it, it did not show up. I think R21 no longer has plugins up here. I think R21 has extensions, but this did not show up in that. But you can also go to Window, Customization, Customize Commands, and you can type for what you want to look for. You can search for it, and I think this is solid chamfer. So there is the solid chamfer tool and the modifier. But this did not show up in R21, and I think I even tried the Insidium Bridge plugin, but it still did not work. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but at least the new Bevel tool with Cinema 4D, at least it's halfway decent now compared to the way it used to be years ago. Because it was pretty bad. Excuse me, it was pretty bad back then. Back around the days of R11 and R13, it was pretty bad. All right, so let's bevel this really quick. Okay, so maybe about right there. I think I just went past it. Let me see something. Turn that off. All right. That will have to do for now. And I think, let's see that center part there. Okay. So I'm going to select some of these and make some extrusions. Okay, so there's some there missing right in the middle. So I need to deselect those. All right, and let's see if there's any up here at the top. There are. Okay, so now let's do the top. The top has some extrusions as well. And it just looks like it's kind of going around there a little bit. So let's, tell you what, let's do something a little different here. Let's connect. Let's connect these two together as well as those two. We'll do the same down here on this end. I could probably be doing this in Symmetry now that I think about it. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this thing in half. What I need to do here is do a loop cut right there in the center. All right, so that should work. Now I only have to do half of it. All right, so we're going to make some of this hole plating at the top. And we'll do the same over here as well. And now that I think about it, I want to keep that lined up. So I'm going to make yet another cut from that point over to there. All right, so now I can select those. I'm going to use the extrude tool again. So I just want to make sure that got all of these selected. All right, that looks good. And then we will hit apply to extrude that up. And there we go. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so what I want to do is I want to line this up for the symmetry, but before I do, I might as well go ahead and just apply some beveling to this. So I'm going to go to edge mode, and the way I usually like to do it, there's a lot of extrusions on here, so I can hit Control A to select all the edges, then go through and deselect the ones I don't want, or I can just use the loop selection. I'll tell you what, I got a better idea. Let's go to polygon mode and do loop selection around all of these little extrusions. And I'm just going around the inside of them. And the really cool thing about this, even though we're doing it in polygon mode, once we have all of these selected, you can then go over into edge mode, but hold down shift when you go into edge mode and it will select those edges. There's probably going to be a little bit of an issue with it though. So I'll tell you what, let's deselect these. The reason why I'm going to deselect the ones on the front, if I were to go into edge mode, I'm going to hold down shift and go into edge mode. You can see it selected all of the edges, but it also selected all of these edges around here that I don't want. So it did all of these here, which I don't want to bevel those. So I'm not sure if there is a way of getting around that. It would be nice if there were. But for now, excuse me. But for now, we'll just do this. And I might as well go ahead and do the top while I'm at it. All right, that looks good. Now we need to get the one on the front. Okay, so once again, hold down shift, go into edge mode. And now we have to deselect all of these extra little subdivisions along here, which again, I don't know how to get around that. I'm not Not sure if there is another trick to doing it or not. But at least we don't have to do the whole thing that way. We're modeling in Symmetry, and plus these little square extrusions that I made there, they don't have any of those extra subdivisions on them. This is one of those things that Cinema 4D is lacking. I don't know if there's anything to counter this in R21. It would be nice, though, if there was a way to tell Cinema 4D that when you have these polygons selected and you go into point mode, you only want the edges to be selected and not all of these extra subdivisions. That makes it a little bit of a pain in the butt, because now I have to go through and deselect them all. Which I guess maybe loop selection could help with that a little bit. Maybe those top loops here could have been done with a loop selection instead. So I'll tell you what, let's try the loop selection and let's see what happens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just deselect this one here. All right, so UL for the loop selection, and then we'll select the inner part of that, but now the corners need to be selected. So now I have to go in and select all of those corners manually, which I guess that's not a big deal. It would be nice, though, to have them automatically know to be selected. So let's try it again with these down here. I don't know, maybe someone knows of a way to do that. Maybe get around it. Might as well do these down here as well. Could probably just do like this. All right. So let's try this again. UL for the loop, and we'll select there. And let's try to do that one. But we need to select the corner and the corner over on the other side as well. Okay, we'll do a loop selection, another one. And in edge mode, if you double click the edge loop selection, I don't think it selects the subdivisions. All right, I'll have to try that. All right, so there are those. Let's see if I can. All right. All right, so I think there's only one more. Yeah, one more up here at the top. Let's see if I do maybe. No, I don't think that's going to work. All right, so I think that's it. If you're wondering why I'm making all of these selections, it's because I want to bevel the edges so that the material, which is going to be a reflective hull material, will pick up the highlights. So I'm going to use, let's try the solid chamfer again. And I want to, let's see, a subdivision of 1 and the offset of 5. That's probably going to be way too much. So let me just save this real quick. This solid chamfer plugin, it's known for often crashing sometimes. All right, so that was too much. So let's take that in half. And that's still kind of a lot. Don't know if I like that. Let's cut that in half. All right, it's a little better, but we're getting some weird stuff going on right there. I don't really like that. So what is going on there? I think what I need to do, let's save this selection. So I'm going to use the set selection, or yeah, there it is. So I can save that edge selection. That way I don't have to come back later and reselect all that stuff again. And what I want to do is I want to select this loop right here. And then I also want to select the loop above it. And I just want to make sure that that went all the way around. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to go get the stitch and sew. And I'm just going to click one of these points here, which would be right there. I'm just going to click and drag up, and that's going to apparently not work the way I thought it was. All right, so why did that not work? That should have welded that line up to the top one. So if I try that again, oh, there it goes. Okay, now it's working. So apparently the location of where you do it at will affect it. All right, so now I'm going to go back and double click the edge selection tag. And now let's try this again. All right, so that looks much better now. Now we have some nice round, excuse me, some nice rounded edges that will pick up the highlights. That looks pretty good. Now we need to check out the bottom to make sure that, oh, of course, there's going to be something going on down here at the bottom. So we'll undo that. And I think what I need to do is just continue the loop selection across the bottom. And that might take care of that. Oh yeah, I need to do that one there. And also here, that probably means at the top as well. Okay, I already got that. That looks good. And that side looks good. All right, so let's try it again. And what happened there? Not sure what happened there. I may have to go with the Cinema 4D Bevel Tool. Sometimes the Cinema 4D Bevel Tool compared to solid chamfer, most of the time they pretty much will make this, they'll give you the same result, but sometimes you'll find yourself having to experiment between the two. One of them will give you some weird shading, the other one won't. May the Ori bless us with a 4th Stargate series. Well, one can only hope. But if they did, I can only assume that the cast would be all new and none of the original cast would be in it. At least that would be my guess. All right, so let's look at the bottom. Okay, so that don't look too bad. Nice clean bevel. And probably what I could do is just, I could probably just delete all of those bottom polygons since they're not going to be seen. But that's okay. All right, so I think that looks pretty good. Not too shabby. All right, so what's next? I need to set this up for the symmetry. Okay, so I don't even know what I'm going to call this thing, but I need to go set up the axis for it. So where is the axis currently at? It needs to be moved, so we might as well turn on snapping, and let's move the axis over to, it's not snapping. So I need to go to edge snap. There we go. Turn that off. And now I think I should be able to just hold down Alt and put in symmetry, and there it is. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and make that editable because I'd rather have it editable than work with symmetry. Symmetry used to give me problems when I would work with V-Ray. For some reason, I have no idea why, could never get anyone to help me solve it. But whenever I had the symmetry object with V-Ray, it would often give me some weird rendering results. So whenever I would use V-Ray, I tend to make sure that all of my symmetry objects are made editable. All right, so let's turn on this. It's the wrong one. Okay, so this is, well, this is the dome area. Okay, so that's the old one. So there is the old one compared to the new one. All right, so I'm going to delete the old one. Don't need it anymore. And let's move on to the next part. And this is what's so annoying, is that I have all of this stuff to go through. I started up here at the top with the weaponry, moved over to the miscellaneous greebles, and just been going through this piece by piece, going through and just remodeling everything. All right, so where's this post? All right, so that actually don't look too bad. I wonder if I need to redo anything on this. Looks pretty good. Maybe what I can do is just kind of bevel some of these sharp corners, maybe. Yeah, that don't look too bad. And maybe do something down here. You know what? Maybe what I'll do here is add, let's see, where is my loop selection? And I'll just pull that up just to add a little bit of extra geometry. Just bevel that. There we go. And since these things here are the same, I might as well just go ahead and use an instance object. And then just pull that over. I don't know why I didn't use instancing back in the day when I started doing this. It's probably because instancing wasn't really a big thing back then. Because I actually started modeling this in 2009. So this is actually over 10 years ago I started modeling this. All right, so back down here to, where's the post? Okay, so there's that post, there's this one. This one I can delete. Where is this one? Oh, there's another one. All right, so what I'll do is I'll do the same for this one. This one's just been elongated, I think. And I think I need to change the Fong angle back over to 80. All right, so that'll work with that one. And then we need to make another instance. And we'll push that one over. And I got an email. Get to that a little later. All right. Okay, so this post and then this one, I'm going to put that below there. And that one will be below that one. And where's this one? Okay, so I can delete that one. The next on the list is whatever this wall thing is. Let me delete these old texture things here. Wall light. Okay. That might, let's see. Wonder if I'm hoping I won't have to redo that one. Maybe what I can do is just bevel a few corners and kind of clean it up a little bit. So this sweep nerd right here, let's see, let's select all of those and set them all at 80. And let's go in here to the circle here. Let's change the shading mode so I can see the subdivisions in it. All right, so to 5, we'll take this one up to 5. And yeah, I think that looks a little better. So we'll leave those like that. The cylinder on the end, I forgot which part of this is the actual light. So let's go over here and let's look for, where is the picture that I'm looking for? I don't know if I have it or not. Okay, so these are all the reference images, by the way, that I used when modeling all of this. This might be it right here. So right over here in this corner, you can see with the part that I'm working on with these two little pipes coming out of it. How big is the Destiny compared to a Aurora class? I'm not really sure on that. I really don't know. Over on, let's see, what website was it? I think it was sci-fi-meshes.com, I think is where it's at. Somebody over there modeled the Aurora ship, and I think they did a size comparison, but I never actually got around to doing any of that. So I honestly don't know how big it is compared to all the other ones. Okay, so the end is the light bulb on that. So this thing here is the light. Okay, so that's okay. That looks good. So that sphere is what I want to use for the Arnold mesh light. And this needs to be a orangish color. Take this down to something like maybe 0.1. Let's turn this on one more time just to see what's going on here with the IPR. Let me save this real quick. All right, so let me take this up to 0.25. All right, that don't look too bad. Maybe up a little bit more, maybe 0.4. Let's go 3.5. Okay, that's not too bad. That looks pretty good, actually. The Destiny and the Seed ships are the coolest, but nothing beats the Puddle Jumper. Yeah, I think the Puddle Jumper was pretty cool. I actually went back and redid the Puddle Jumper probably about a year ago, but I haven't done anything with it, so I don't know, maybe that's something I need to release. Went back and created a big UV map and everything for it. Okay, so that doesn't look too bad. All right, so let's work on this part here. And what I'm going to do is let's bevel these two lines, and let's do that just a little bit. Something like that. Okay, that don't look too bad. So I think that's good enough for now. We'll leave that as is. So the cylinder, that cylinder should be 80. That looks good. The capsule, where is the capsule? Oh, back here on the back. Yeah, I guess we'll leave that where it's at for now. Okay, so you did the puddle jumper in SolidWorks. Wow, okay. Yeah, I have no experience at all with SolidWorks. Maybe in a few minutes I can pull up the puddle jumper. I'll have to look through my files to find it. But I went back and redid it. I actually have probably, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 different versions of it, because the first one turned out to look like crap. The second one was a little bit better, and that's the one that I used for a while. And then I decided to go back and just redo the whole thing all over again. Okay, so the capsule, whatever this weird wall looking thing is, that's fine. So there's the symmetry part of it. That's fine for now. The exterior wall. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun now. I hope I don't have to redo this whole wall again. But if I do, then I do. I think I should be able to keep it. The wall, just do some beveling on it. All right, so let's see, what do I got in the exterior wall? Oh, look, more lamp bases. So maybe I can just go back and reuse one of the first ones, because I think they should be the same size. This one looks a little bit bigger. So maybe what I'll do is grab the first one, and then I will make another one. And this one will have to go over here to replace the old one. Yep, they look like they're 2 different sizes. Yeah, super difficult because you can only use the characters and laptops they use for size. Yeah, the puddle jumper, that was a hard one to do. I tried to use some of the screenshots from the show, but a lot of it was just guesswork. Saw this in my notification list and was hoping it was this Destiny. Hello, how's your day going? Well, it's going well. It's actually nighttime here, but my day went very well. All right, so let's see if we can line up this lamp. And I think this lamp should have the tag on it. It does, that's good. So we need to probably scale this thing down. So let's scale it down to about there. All right. And let's see, what about this thing? Let's turn that off. And where is the lamp? Okay, this lamp here probably needs to be made a whole lot bigger. I may have to redo that. Where is this lamp? Yeah, that's a pretty big lamp. All right, so I will delete that one, and I'll just make a new one for it. So we will use another sphere. Go up on the subdivision count. Bring that down. Now, how big does this thing have to be? Yeah, it's going to need to be a little bit bigger. All right, so I think that will be okay. And we will delete that old lamp. This model that I'm doing of the Destiny, I was going to make a few animations and still images with it, but I never actually got around to finishing it. A lot of people were asking me if I was going to release it. Maybe at some time I will. I don't know, but I wanted to kind of do some stuff with it, maybe some animations and see what kind of stuff I can do with it. How long did it take me to model the jumper? That's a good question. I really don't know how long it took. I never kept track of the hours with it. The hours on the Atlantis model, Atlantis was way over 200 hours for the first one. The second revision of Atlantis, that was maybe 100 hours. And then the third revision, I went back and did a whole lot more to it. And that was maybe 50 or 60 hours to go back and fix problems. So, and I'm not even done with that thing yet. That's a whole other beast. That was a whole other project that I should not have tackled by myself. All right, so what are we doing here? Let's take this thing and push this back up here, and we might as well just cut a section of this off at the bottom. Okay, where am I at here? All right, there we go. Okay, so I'm just going to chop that off. Yes, I did model Atlantis. Yeah, you can check my channel for it. There should be some, it's not the actual modeling part that was on there. I didn't actually model it like on a stream. But there's a couple of videos on there on my channel, I think. I may have to look through this. I'll tell you what, let me pull this up real quick. Where is this going to be at? It may be in here, Atlantis. I think this here is the old version of Atlantis. So, okay. Let me just open this really quick. This is the old, yeah, okay. Yeah, this should tell you how old this is. This is back in the day when we used to use the plugin called Lumen and add the sea and also Waverine. Those were used to kind of create the sea, ocean splashing, and all kind of stuff like that. All right, so here is the Atlantis model. This is the upper balcony that's on the center spire tower. And let's see. Yeah, this is probably one of the very first ones that I did, I think. And let's back out of this a little bit. Yeah, so here's the city. I think most of it's turned off. So Pier 1, where is Pier 1? Okay, so here's Pier 1 here. And what I'm going to do, let me see if I can turn off the disk. Get this going a little better. So the total polygon count, I believe that is 2.9 million. So right on the verge of heading over into the zone of 3 million polygons. So this is the old one. This has all the old towers and the old buildings with a lot of mesh errors and a lot of mesh problems. This was done back in the day when I knew how to model some of the basic stuff, but nah, I needed a lot of help when it come to modeling back in the day when I did this one. And this is before we had render engines like V-Ray and Arnold and Redshift and Octane. Everything here had to be modeled, or I mean rendered with the standard Cinema 4D render. And it had global illumination, but that was slow. Still looks very impressive. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Even though this is the older version, I'm not sure where the newer version is. I have it somewhere on a drive. I'll have to share that later. But anyway, that's Atlantis. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just release this version at some point in the future and let people play around with it and see what they can do with it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close that out. Okay, so what are we doing now? Back to the lamp. More lamps. All right, so where are we at here? The lamp base, we'll turn that off. And we'll go back to the sphere. Where is, there we go. Close polygonal hole. If I can select that bottom piece, why won't that select that? There it goes. Do a little chamfer on that to smooth it out. And there's the lamp base, and we'll just sit this lamp down on top of the lamp base. That's fine. We're going to give that an Arnold mesh light tag, visible, and we'll make this an orangey yellowish type color. And we'll take this down to something like 0.3. And let's see what this does now. Turn the IPR back on. There we go. All right, so that's not too bad. It's kind of blown out a little bit, so I probably need to tone the light down a little bit. So we'll try 0.2. And maybe 0.1. I guess 0.1 will be okay. We'll zoom in here to it, see what it looks like. Hi, what's going on? Not too much, just working on a very old project, trying to go back and remodel some of it. All right, well, have a good one, Aiden. See you next time. All right, so we'll close that off. And let's go make some instancing now. So how many of these am I going to need? Okay, so if that's the lamp base there, we can delete that. I don't need it. Let's put the sphere inside of the base. And we'll put the base there. Okay, and these are all just... Oh, and look, there's a whole bunch up there as well. Well, that's good to know. Now I can do another third one. All right, so we'll take this and we'll do another instance. Drag it down here into, I might as well make it on the bottom. All right, we'll do another one there. Another one over here. And while we're at it, I might as well just throw in one right there. I don't know if there's actually one there in the show or not, but we'll put one there. I think there might be a tool that can do this for me and make this easier. I think it's called Transfer, I think is what it's called. I think the way it works, I'm not sure if it's a Cinema 4D native tool or if it comes with Cactus Dan stuff. Let's go up here to Customize Commands. I'm not even sure where that would be at. Let's do Transfer. Okay, yeah, transfer object. So there is a transfer tool, and I'm sorry, Cactus Dan also has a transfer as well. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, so I think there's one more we can do. All right. Okay, so now I can go through and delete all the old lamps. So that one, and that one can go, that one can go, that one, that one, that one, and that one. And now we have the remaining lamps, which are up here on the top. All right, guys, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep the stream going for just a few more minutes, and then I'm probably just going to go ahead and end it for the night because it's kind of getting a little late here. But let me know if you guys want me to do some more of these, and because I've got a ton more to do on this Destiny project. So if you want, what I can do is just continue doing these live streams every once in a while, just to kind of show my progress on the ship. So I'll keep the stream going for a few more minutes before I end it for the night. All right, so let's make another one of these. So let's take this lamp and copy it. This lamp gets to go over here. Let's scale this one up. All right, so this one needs to be adjusted a little bit. How much does that need to be adjusted? I'm just going to keep it the way it is. I think that'll be just fine. All right, so we'll do this one, and we'll make another instance of it. Put that one on the bottom of that one. Push that one over. All right, so those lamps are now in place. So now let's go through here and delete them. All right, so let's try this and see how it looks. All right, that's not too bad. So that looks pretty good. Not too bad at all. So let's... Oh, I know what it is. I still got the... I wondered where the orange light was coming from. I still have the sky dome on. So the Arnold sky there, I still have that on. Okay. I was going to say, where's that orange light coming from? All right. I could probably take that one and... Okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and close that off. Go ahead and save it. All right, so what's next after all these lights? Okay, we got the actual wall. All right. All right, so I think I should be able to hold on to this wall. Let's go up here and turn all this off so I can see what the wall looks like. I have no idea what happened right there, but that looks really, really messy. I have no idea how that happened. And this over here has got, yeah, see, that right there would be a result of the old bevel tool from, I'm going to guess, probably R10 or R11, because I did not do that. That's the old bevel tool in action. So I may have to, I really don't want to have to redo this wall, but I might have to, just to keep it nice and clean, because I like clean geometry. So I'm thinking maybe I'll just do a new wall. All right, so how do I want to do this with hard surface modeling? I can start out with a cube, and then I can just make cuts in the cube and extrude it along as I go. Or I can use maybe a spline on an extrude NURB to do it that way. Either way will work. So maybe what I'll do is I'll use the spline method. That way I get a very nice rounded corner there, because you can see the corner here is not really rounded. It's rather low poly rounded. All right, so let's go to, I'm just going to do like this. Let's grab one of these here. And I will square this up in a minute. So we'll clean that up, and we'll do the same here. Same here. That might have been too far. That's okay. All right, and then we'll do the same down here. But this one needs to be moved over quite a bit. And the same for this one. And the same for this one. All right, so I'm going to bevel that point right there. See if we can get it to line up here. All right, and then we'll do the same with this one in the corner. So maybe about right there. And that should give us what we need for the extrude NURB. So where is my axis handle? There we go. Bring that up. Push that up to the top. All right, so we'll have to make some cuts along there. That shouldn't be too difficult to do. And I'm going to turn off all these lights. Where is the light? So we'll hide that one. Hide that one. And that one. All right, now we need the wall back on again. There we go. All right, so I think what I did here was I made it a little too wide. So let's see if I can fix that really quick. So what I'm going to do is, rather than doing a bunch of undos, I'm going to hide the wall, and I'm going to take and just delete that point, and I'll delete that one. And these two here, I'll just make them hard. Then I'll just slide those back over. And what I need to do first is line this up, because I don't think it's lined up properly. All right, so I need to, let's see here, where is... All right, so I need to push this in to where it sits against the inner part of the wall, right about there. So see, what line is that? Ah, okay. So right there is where it needs to be. We'll do the same on the back. All right. And then we also need to do the same over here on this side. I need to push that into there, and this one up here can probably go right there. Also need to do the same for this one. So that one will go there. And what I'm doing, I'm just lining this up. I had it lined up incorrectly earlier. All right, that looks a little better. So now we can bevel this one. I'll turn that off. Bevel it to about right there, I think. Let's turn on the ship first, just to make sure that that bevel's gonna look good while it's there. So let's go to, where am I at here? Let's turn this back on. Okay. That'll be fine. And then we'll bevel this one here. That actually needs to be in the middle, doesn't it? I think I just messed up. So let's redo this. Need to keep that bevel in the right spot. So let's try this one more time. Okay, so if that is the correct bevel, then this needs to go right there. All right, that's better. And we'll do the same for this one. We'll keep this one in the center, which will be right about there. Yeah, welcome to the world of hard surface modeling. It doesn't always work the way you want it to. All right, so now we can take that up, and that might be a bit too much, but that's okay. We can come back later and fix it. All right, so I think this is probably as far as I'm going to go tonight with this. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. Thank you to everyone who watched. I don't think there were many people watching, but I'm going to try to do some more of these. So if any of you would like to see some more of these, and we'll talk more about hard surface modeling, let me know. And what I'll do is I'll plan to do some more of these, hopefully soon. Maybe in the next few days, I'll do some more of these live streams. So let me know what you guys want to see. and we'll go from there. All right, so guys, thank you for watching. You guys have a good night.